Right, so this is a recording with Des O'Connor, who I met quite recently, and he's what he does is conferences, and I'll speak a bit about that later. Marketing, which is outsourced marketing, which I'll speak about later, which is very important to us, right? And he's got one of these conferences coming up where he's expecting 200 people to attend. He's got a variety of lady speakers. It's about health and wellness. Health and wellness are two of the subjects, but there's a lot of stuff that is not direct marketing to me. I also don't anticipate that the audience will be of much interest to us, but out of 200 people, somebody might be a company secretary or something like that. And if she, if she likes the inspirational speaking that I'll do, that's really the important thing. And what I'm planning to do on stage with Des, right, is he leads the questions onto me, right? And I'll give him the list of questions now. It's Anthony, you've come to speak to us. You've been 57 years in the commercial property business, and you say that you've learned a lot about how to actually work stress-free, right, and have the energy you've got at the age of 75 years old to continue to run your business in an even more efficient system than we've ever known. And can you kind of touch on or explain to us, right, how this seems impossible, right, when you also lead a very, very active life of living and socializing outside business in Mayfair in central London. And in the summer you run a polo team and play, and in the winter you jump these 5 foot to 6 foot 5 foot hedges and 5 bar gates and things when you're doing cross country work and on horses, and you also seem to holiday and be able to run it all at the same time. And well, Des, I suppose it's the way I think. And funnily enough, I got a lot of time during COVID, right? Something in the order of 1.5 years, right? Locked down at the farm. Thank goodness I did have the odd visitor, right? And I've got people on site who can look after me, right? And yes, I am 5 years old. And I think I thought a lot about myself, and I've worked out how I've been stress free all my life because I've never suffered from it, right? And what it boils down to is what I realized is that, everything you've been through is totally irrelevant. We're always in the now, right? If we go here and I go there, I'm in the now, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So I can't get out of the now. And in the now, I've kind of got three decisions. Do I say yes? Or do you carry on listening to me? Yes. Do you carry on listening to me? No. Or maybe I will, which means yes for now, but I can drop it. And what I realized is that anything which you're going yes, no, or maybe, which is what you've really got, let the maybe box be empty, right? Because then you follow more yeses. And the maybe means it's either yes or no. So you're going to have to make a decision. If you're at the top of a ski slope, you can't stay there in the blizzard. So you creep down one side and you go, yes, this looks dangerous. You creep up again. Yes, I'll creep the other side. And as soon as, you kind of keep going down until you get to the village instead of the ravine. So I really thought that, what we really are, right, is the sum of our yeses, right? We can't not be the sum of our yeses. And by the way, yes is what we want to do, all right, which takes into consideration being honest, being kind to other people. Hopefully you've got those ingredients in you. And yes takes you where you're going. Now, most people have 60,000 yeses a day or thereabouts. That's what I read on the internet. And why limit it to 60,000? Why not everything that happens you just do in the now? We've got the technology to do that. We didn't have it in the 1960s when Miss Stembridge was typing a Singer typewriter or whatever it was faster than the new electric ones with the other girls. We didn't have those, but we've got the technology to put down the phone, to draft your notes, on a Philips dictation app or similar, to get them done, and then to write to the person with the notes and leave the ball in the other person's court anyway. Every negotiation, every transaction is one move only. It's no more than a chess game. But you try and work out where you're going, but you still have to make that one move, and that's the yes going forwards. And so in business, right, following your yeses and enacting them, if it's yes and it's not enacted, it's still a maybe. So you've got to get rid of the maybes and follow your yeses, enact them. And people will say, right, that's dangerous. That's a wrong decision, right? But you don't have to think about what is the right decision on every single stage of a negotiation. What should I do next in order to do it? And then just do it. And that will take you on the journey from the start of a negotiation. Let's say you find somebody offices, you then got to negotiate terms, you then got to get heads of terms, get the lawyers instructed and everything. Everything is the way forward by following your yeses. And in following your yeses, the definition of happiness is, what's the point of actually not being 100% happy with where you've got so far, instead of being 50% happy when you've achieved 70% of what you want to do? Because if you actually are 100% happy that you've done your best, you take on the next situation with a smile on your face and just enjoy it. So it's not actually difficult maintaining happiness, not being stressful, because fear is one of the worst things. And what's the definition of fear? Fear is actually believing that a situation is going to turn out badly. Why not deal with that situation in order that it doesn't have most of your fears? Out of 10 fears you've got, eight out of 10 solve themselves. I'm going to be late, or my hair doesn't look good, or whatever it should be. They solve themselves and they're actually not important. And you think of a fear you had 2 months ago, or 6 months ago, or a year, where you've still got that same fear, right? I think you would have killed yourself by now, right? Our fears come up every day. It's a belief that we can't achieve what we're going to do. And that is putting your foot on the brake when you're meant to be putting your foot on the accelerator. And kind of that's how I think. And the definition of happiness is not wealth or anything. The definition of happiness is putting your level of contentment with who you are at 100%. It might not be justified. I'm not very good looking, but I think I'm the best I can be. And for this meeting, I didn't prepare myself, but for the ladies who are coming on my first test case, I will do. So let me tell you my strategy between you and I, and this is to be kept. The first interview may not have the audience that I want, but it will take half an hour or thereabouts. But that will be my pilot, right, for what I want to get to a different audience. If it's really good enough, we can blot out the audience questions or whatever, and that becomes the pilot for us to then send to 2,000, 3,000 MDs and CEOs of companies who have got over 5 to 10,000 square feet of offices in central London. And that's where you come in, Des, to do the marketing side, to be able to get to those people, that if the video is good enough, my question to you, and it's your turn now, is what would you do with that, and how would you social media market it? You mentioned how many LinkedIn contacts you've got. They might not be the right people for us, but we'd have a look at, we need category A people who are our clients. And funnily enough, we really want to expand our women in business. So we could take your women in business up a stage by telling you all the women we know in business and putting them on the list of who we go to market it. Right. And that's my general plan. And if you can now come in for a few minutes.
Fantastic. Yes. Brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. There's different ways on how we can get that message across to who you're looking for. As you said, there's targeted lists that you can email to. I think the most important thing that we need for you, when you want to get this brand out, is you on video. Before, when it was all just about emails and stuff, people just look at an email. But if you've got a video that's powerful, informative, encouraging, and inspirational, and people are going to be excited about what this is about, then you're going to get people that's going to share that. And then more people are going to share that. Like you just said, automatically, I've got some women that I want to invite to this event.
I get things on Facebook. This was amazing, whether it's a joke or, anything which comes around, people send it. And a lot of my academic clients share interesting videos on a business situation and things like that. So it does get shared, yes. Right? And we can help you go to very high worth social media, who are a lot of my friends and clients and things, and move the business up to market the Lorenz consultancy by not just what we do, rent reviews, lease renewals, dilapidations, all the old stuff, but who this man is, all right, and how and how he's quite inspirational. And maybe the work that gets done by this team is not just somebody at the front, but everybody in the office gets that way, because I've been that way with them for 5, 10, 15 years. It's very few people who are around me who don't actually, I hope there's very few people around me, and this video will be shown to all of them, who haven't, during their time while they've been working in the atmosphere, picked up from Andrew, who's more positive than he ever was when he came to me at 18, and Bailey and Sam and Richard and Frank and all the girls. So I think that the positivity in a small office actually spreads without trying to spread it. And I'd love their view as to whether, I'm working from home today, but love their view on this video, which they're going to see tomorrow, as to whether that's true. But one of the ways I think we should target the women in business is by kind of organizing future conferences to go upmarket women in business, who are managing directors, chief execs, and also women lawyers and everything like that, and women accountants, right? And they also give a lot of work, right? And say we ought to have a chat with these people about our own offices, or we might recommend our clients to them. And a lot of them know us anyway. So if it goes to every single person on our mailing list, which is about 4,000 to 5,000 people, we'll find out who's dead now, which is quite good, because you get, the returns, right? So we can cross them off the list. And I think a lot of people would like it if it's short and sharp and reasonably sweet. And what we'll do is you take clips out of this whole video afterwards and cut out the bits you didn't need and show me what the initial video would look like. And this draft is going on to my guys to have a look at it, because I think it's fun to try and do it. But I think that really video marketing and really getting to the right people, you mentioned you have a very, very strong connection with America. And to get to American executives with an Englishman, sorry, I'm not an Englishman, but somebody who's learned English and how to speak it, right? But I'm Austro-Hungarian, right? But to get an Englishman, as far as they're concerned, to be inspirational, if they like it, who knows what can happen with things. Things can go viral, right? If what I'm talking is found as being sensible. I can tell you one thing, Des, that if you do it for yourself, I promise you it works for me. And that everybody who's been close to me, right, who I've shared it with, it seems to work for them. And they go from, a lot of people carry lots of bad things, right, and they're not worth carrying at all, right? But even if they go from lots of bad things to less bad things because they sort the bad things out, right, and do it in the now, the answer is they get better in their mental health on the way through, all right? And I've turned people around. No, they've turned themselves around, right? Because of seeing how positive I am. I might be stupid being 100% happy with myself. I might be completely stupid. But am I really foolish to do that if on every minute I'm living, even if it's raining and, we take the dogs for a walk or something, you're enjoying it? What's the point of not enjoying every second? Because you're really missing out. And time's the only thing you can't get back. And that's all I've got to say, unless you've got some further comments.
No, I totally agree with that, and it's inspirational. And I feel that once even your presentation on stage, we can edit that. We could, if it's 30 minutes, we can make that into a short 1 minute or 2 minute and make the main points.
The answer is I don't make any decisions on my own. All right, I use my team as my friends and part of the committee, right, who give their input. We're going to send this to them, and I probably won't be in the office today, but I'll ask them to have a look at it. You send it to me now, and I'll forward it to the team.
Brilliant. Okay.
And if you can send it to me in a way where it's going to be quite a long video, whether it's on what's the best way of sending it?
I'll most probably get it on YouTube for you. That'd be easier. You just click on the link.
Okay, if you send it to me on YouTube personally, all right, then I can send it on to them on anything, can I?